Hi guys, welcome to the channel, Practical Reefer. My name is Mark as always. Slowly getting there with the Reefer XL200. There's lots been going on the last few weeks and it's just about ready, getting quite excited about it. Also, welcome to my office. Now, probably give you the best view you've ever had. This is the Budget Nano and the little 5-gallon sort of frag / baby molly tank. Not the prettiest of tanks, but very, very useful. And this is where I work most days, or have done over lockdown. But that will continue for at least 2 days a week going forward with work, and a couple of days in the office. So still in here lots, and I'm in here at the weekend and stuff as well. Well, I'm looking at the fish at the weekend. I'm not sitting here working. Big thing today, I'm going to go over wrapping the tank and the sump in vinyl. Not quite vinyl, it's a self-adhesive film which I got from B&Q, which is a DIY store here in the UK if you're not from the UK. And we're also going to go over the electrics for the Reefer. I've kind of done a first run of how I'm going to set up the electrics and where things are going to go, plug sockets and things like that. It's up for upgrades in the future. It's definitely not perfect, but it's kind of easy for me, the way I've thought it will work, having never ran a Sump Reef tank, and it has the potential to become a rat's nest of wires and things. I've kind of tried to set it up fairly neatly, and also so that I can remove equipment, individual pieces of equipment, and either replace or repair or clean them. Cleaning is probably going to be the biggest one. I don't want to have to undo 5 other things to get to take out one pump. Kind of want things to be able to lift away individually. So I'll show you just now a quick video. I took one night of the tank before I wrapped it, because I did this late at night. What I've actually done, as you'll see here, is I've wrapped the left hand side of the tank. So just here, what I kind of thought, the wallpaper's quite old, it's just an office. I've got no intention of decorating the whole room at the moment. So I just thought, for me sitting here when I'm working and I want to look at the tank, I just want to see the tank and the corals, and I don't want to see the wallpaper behind it. I know someone else gets a lot of abuse on YouTube for his wallpaper. It's a lot nicer than my wallpaper, but I'd rather just be looking at the corals and what's in the tank and not the wallpaper behind it on that side, because it's in the corner. So I've wrapped that one side. It can be peeled off if I don't like it or something's not right with it or just not happy. So we'll have a quick look at a video of that before it went on, and then we'll show you it just now, and we'll come back in a second. So here's the tank before, and the wallpaper I don't want to see. So guys, as we saw there, that was the tank before it was wrapped, and it's just some old wallpaper that's on the wall that doesn't put me up or down, but when I'm looking at my tank, I'd much rather be looking at that. So in here we've just wrapped it's a self-adhesive film. So kind of popped on. I managed to use the start of the roll here at the top corner and on this face and along the top, and then the back edge down there, and the bottom edge I just trimmed with a knife because it was wider than the tank. So plan is, when I've got the escape in, as you can see, I've clearly finished that. The escape is somewhere else, that's just a little additional piece. We can see some of the other tank in the background, the blue. But yeah, that's going to be the sides there, probably getting inside. So it'll look quite good. I think it'll just focus on the corals. You won't be seeing the wall behind, because it's very much a corner tank, so kind of want the corals to be the focus rather than the wall behind it. And then also I had spare roll left over, which I have absolutely no use for otherwise, and I thought I would just wrap the back and the sides of the sump, and just makes it, when there's a light on there, it should reflect a bit better and I'll be able to see dirt and things, and algae will be really obvious when you've got a white background like that. One thing I would say about this film is that excuse that corner there sitting in the silicone, the best side is actually the side that you'll see on the outside. So it's not the best in that terms. So your actual better looking side is on the outside of the tank then, but it still works, it's still white. I just think the slightly better finish is on the outside, but certainly for the sump, absolutely no issues, and it's a clean enough look on the tank as well. It's not the best with the reflections and things, but really happy with that. I think it'll make the tank look a lot cleaner, especially when I'm sitting next to the tank at the right hand side, and then the sump when I come to clean it. I've removed most of the kit at the moment, like the ATO and the skimmer. We'll pop that back in a minute and we'll have a look, and these wires will be tidied up later, but I'll cover that just now. So guys, this is all the plug sockets for the Reefer. So as you can see, I've got a strip of 6 in the cabinet, and I've got a strip of 6 just under my desk behind my laptop there. The idea was that anything there's a sump that I want to remove, say the skimmer, it's plugged in under the sump, and I can just grab the skimmer, unplug it, and just pull the whole thing out very easily. Same with if I've got, you know, a frag light or a little refugium and I've got a light in there and a pump. Anything that's in the sump can pretty much be unplugged and pulled out of the door of the cabinet. It saves me having to pull cables from behind the unit and things like that. And the same with everything that goes in the tank, with the exception of maybe the heaters. There's also a spare heater in the cabinet, which will be an undersized heater just plugged in out with the controller. And the return pump is on the board there. So the easy thing there is the wave makers on that board, which can then be unplugged, lifted out of the tank, which is up top, and just kind of pulled away quite easily. I don't have to pull a cable out of the sump and then pull it out the back of the cabinet and things like that and mess around. Same with the light will be plugged in under the cabinet here. So if I ever need to remove the light can be just taken off and the plug pulled away. Just to kind of make things a bit easier like that. The only thing that might be a little bit is that there'll be a heater plugged in into the heater controller at the bottom there, and that will run through into the sump, but that's the only one really that I would need to just unplug and pull through the hole at the back of the cabinet. So that's the setup. It's very simple. I was going to rotate that there, but it'll look terrible. So I'll just pull the laptop down. So it's very simple. As you see, it's tidier when the laptop's up. It's going to be something that will probably get upgraded later on, but it kind of just keeps things tidy and secure. The wave maker and the heater controller are just on magnetic strips that I had to hand. I've had them for about 10 years and never used them. Same with that one. And the TMC pump had a little hole in it, so I just banged a screw in it. Nice and easy. Really simple, and easy to do, and looks a lot better with the laptop lit up. But again, that's how the laptop sits all the time, and it'll be ideal for me when I'm working away. I can see the temperature, I can walk into the room, see the temperature at a glance, and I can play about with the controls in the wave maker and pause on the feed mode for when I feed the fish. I think that's going to be a good thing as well, so I don't need to open up the sump to feed the fish. I can just hit feed mode on the return, feed mode on the wave maker, drop food in, and that's it. I've not even had to open the cabinet. I think that's going to be better for me. Going into the cabinet, now it's still, excuse me batting about, still just a very slight rat's nest. Nothing's been finally tidied up. Once I start filling it in and getting things switched on, I'll get the cable ties out and I'll probably tuck these cables behind one of the pipes, tack that in a bit neater, things like that. Same with these ones at the bottom. I don't want to do too much securing the things, because if you ever need to remove anything, it'll make it harder, but even some Velcro straps, something like that, just to tuck things behind the pipes there. And we've got the temperature controller probes down there. That's going to get fixed in somewhere. And the same with these cables. These will get tightened up once we've got things running and working and happy how everything's going. So yeah, that's the big thing. All the electrics are in, all ready to go. There's a skimmer there which I've never used. I'll see how that goes. The plan is to use a refugium, so there may be a hang-on side refugium going into this space. And one thing I did in the sump as well, I did miss one of the sticky tabs that was on this one. I cleaned it too, actually. What I did is I put in a little batten of 18mm ply, or it was a strip of 18mm ply that I had sitting in the garage, and I didn't have screws quite short enough to secure the power strip, so I just used longer screws and just put them through the 18mm, and then it just made it actually flush with a bit of cabinet above, so it meant I could put the power strip just that little bit higher. And what I have done with any of the plugs that I'm not using is pop in a socket protector, meant for kids to stop them putting screwdrivers or forks into them or something like that. And I was just thinking, because it could be quite a humid, salty environment, all the plugs are then protected. The plan in here will be, that's the skimmer plug, the second heater, there'll probably be a little light for frags, and then if I do a refugium, there'll be a pump and a little refugium light. So that'll take 5 of those 6 sockets, and there'll be a spare, and there will also be 2 spare sockets outside as well. So pretty happy with that. Again, we'll get these tidied up when the tank's filled, and we'll get all these wires just tucked away, a couple of cable ties, or even just a case of taking up the excess cable, just, you know, curling it up and popping it out to the side, and that'll be fine. But probably going to run 2 heaters on this as well, so it'll be 250 watt heaters. One will go into the controller and one will be set a bit lower inside the sump, just plug directly in case the controller fails, and it just keeps me right. But if that 150 fails on, it'll still be okay because it's a bit undersized. But we'll come back and just have a look. So guys, that's the tank. That's all the electrics set up. Basically everything's near enough plugged in and ready to go. I just need to put in the 2 plugs for the adapters. One thing I will say, it's just worth a check. I thought it would be a heavier load than what it was, but when I added up the return, the heaters, the light and the wave maker, even if both heaters were in the same socket, you'd be a maximum of about 500 watts. You're talking about 300 watts of heating. I think the return was about 50 watts. The light's 165. So it's, it's not more than 500 watts. And then the plug socket in the Sump, the skimmers, you're lucky if that's 20 watts. There's a 20 watt frag light that I plan to use over some frags, and then there'll be a heater for 150 watts. So you'll be lucky if there's 300 watts being used within the Sump. One thing I would say that I really like, that I just had kicking about, and I just had a thought, I don't really like the idea of salt and water just being, a very humid environment in the Sump, and the plugs being unprotected. So if there's nothing plugged in, I will be using one of these on each of the sockets just to keep things safer. But yeah, really excited. The next couple of days are going to be quite busy. I'm going to get this filled up, I'm going to get switched on. I've collected 200 or over 200 litres of natural seawater just to get this filled up. I've got the scape done off to the side here, which I'll reveal that in a couple of days. Well, I'll be putting that, I'll reveal that first, and then I'll get the tank filled. So yeah, really busy. And as you probably noticed in the Nano when I showed you it earlier, it is filled with frags. Even having a Nano hasn't stopped me buying corals. I will not need to buy many corals for the Reefer for quite some time. It'll be good to just get them in. They're all doing great. The Nano's really mature now. Or it's a year, it's nice and mature, and a lot of the corals are doing quite well. If you've seen on Instagram, I've got some really nice bicoloured frog spawn that I got from Prestige Reef that just absolutely fantastic, and a lot of my older Euphyllia are starting to come on and grow heads and split and things, so really happy that the Nano's coming on. The Nano will stay running, that's not going anywhere, but the little sort of spare 5 gallon is going to go. And I have a 10 gallon that we don't talk about. It's just got loads of corals in it that, or it's got some rock filler anemones. That's something that will come up soon as well, and a lot of other corals from friends. Lots of nice mushrooms which will be going into the Reefer as well. They came from a friend, Jonathan. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. It's kind of a setup. As I say, this is very a practical setup. It's just a board of ply that I had in my garage that I've just plonked behind the desk, and it's just been perfect to mount on the controls so they're visible, and to mount on the electrical sockets. And the same with the electrical socket and the Sump, I actually just put the 2 screws into the back and hung it on there, and it's really secure. I didn't really fancy using the double-sided Velcro or the 3M sticky strips. I wasn't a fan of that. I just thought over time they might come off, or if you knock it, it might come off. Whereas 2 decent sized screws is going to hold that electrical socket really nice and securely. I don't have to worry about it ever again. But yeah, really happy it's coming on. It's been a busy few weeks. At the Scape's been about 2 or 3 weeks of just doing a couple of bits every day, and there's a couple of big overhangs on it as well, so that took a bit of doing. But hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Very soon I'll be revealing the Scape, and then we'll get that into the tank and we'll get it filled in the next week or so. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give me a little comment below. Any tips on how I could do this better? Obviously nothing's kind of quite tied down yet. I'm going to tidy up the wires a bit more once I get things in and running. But yeah, any tips on how to improve that setup, and anything else that on getting it started. But give me a little comment below, give me a like, don't forget to subscribe, excuse my words. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you all next time. Thanks for watching.